drums, drummers, and the drumming industry. Hello, my name's Paul Rodney, better known as The Rod. I'm not an authority, nor do I claim to be. I played the drums most of my life. I've worked in artist relations for 2 drum product manufacturers. I served as a product tester at times, and even took a stab at my own drum company. There's a unique bond between drummers unlike any other instrument, which surpasses race, sex, age, and religion. It makes us a unique group of people. Drums are my passion. They are my life. Welcome to Talkin Drums. Talking in front of the incredible Five-Finger Deathpunch sign.
It's actually backwards right now, but we keep in mind we have a soft spot in our hearts for our dyslexic fans.
Jeremy Spencer. He's a drummer and co-founder for one of the most popular and hard-working metal bands today. The band is Five Finger Deathpunch, and they fully deliver. Jeremy grew up in Boonville, Indiana. It was not a hotbed for music in Jeremy's words, so he moved to Los Angeles because he felt that's where he needed to be in order to make it. He played in many bands but was never satisfied. Then one day, his roommate, Jason Hook, who is now the guitarist for Deathpunch, told him that Wasp was auditioning drummers. Jason called his friend Daryl Roberts, who was a member of Wasp at the time and would later become lead guitarist for Five Finger Deathpunch in an earlier formation. He asked if Jeremy could get an audition for Wasp. Daryl set up the audition, and it came down to Jeremy and another drummer. After dueling it out, Jeremy became the new drummer, but the position only lasted for 2 weeks. The former drummer was asking to come back, and Wasp didn't want to work in a new drummer. Keeping his attitude positive, he went online to search for musicians looking to create shredding metal music. That's where he found Zoltan, founding member of Deathpunch. He was looking for the same type of musician. They immediately started working together with a strong work ethic. They determined that any future members would have to give 110% as well, or they were out. After securing the lineup, they knew they were onto something when their debut full-length release, The Way of the Fist, sold 5,800 copies in its first week and debuted at number 199 on the Billboard 200. Their second release, War is the Answer, debuted at number 7 on the Billboard 200, selling over 44,000 copies in its first week of release. Band mediator, hardworking, positive, friend are all words that are used to describe Jeremy from his fellow bandmates. Ivan, singer for Deathpunch, goes on to add, "Jeremy is my favorite part of this band." Guitarist Jason adds, "Jeremy's playing is simple and technical, and live he's a machine." Touring as a support and headlining act, Five Finger Deathpunch have toured all over the world and have played some of the biggest metal festivals such as Download Fest and Mayhem Fest. When Jeremy came to town, he was 2 weeks into the Godsmack tour that featured both Five Finger Deathpunch and Drowning Pool as support acts in 2010. The show had a lot of energy, and we were privileged to be able to shoot the show. All live performances you'll see were captured by us. Hello everybody, this is The Rock. I'm talking with Jeremy Spencer of Five Finger Deathpunch. How are you doing today, man?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing stellar. Talking about your passion for double bass work, how did you develop that initially?
You know, I struggled with it for a long time because a lot of it's mental, and you're trying to just muscle your way through it. And really, you almost just have to quit thinking about it. And one day, I remember one summer, I think it was when I was like 17 or something, it clicked over for me. And I was like, I noticed a level that went up substantially for me. And I was like, wow, okay, now it's starting to make sense. But it took me a while to struggle through. You know, you just have to learn it. And then one day it just happens. I have no magic formula. I just kept grinding and practicing, and one day it just kind of clicked in for me.
Let's talk about a little bit about some of your early influences as a drummer, double bass. Can you tell me who originally got you fired up about drumming?
When I first heard the Master of Puppets record, Lars to me was an exciting drummer. He was one of the first that really brought it to the masses, in my opinion. There was tons of other guys doing it, but he was one of the guys that, you know, were out there really doing it on a level to where you would know who he was. Yeah. Certainly Dave Lombardo from Slayer was a huge influence. Charlie Benante from Anthrax. Those guys, they were like the pioneers. They were the first.
So you're in support right now of Godsmack's latest CD, The Zolt. You're a supporting artist. Tell me about this tour. How's it been going so far?
Well, we're about week 2 maybe into it. It's going well. You know, we wanted to do this tour because it introduces us to maybe a lot of people that really haven't heard of Deathpunch. It's a little bit of a different audience, so that's always a cool opportunity that we want to, you know, jump on board with. And it's been going well. They're cool guys. It's a really cool show what they have.
As I understand it, though, you guys are going into the studio in November for your next record. Is that correct? This is the last tour before that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are going to go home and hopefully take a couple weeks off, and I kind of want to relearn where the dishes are in my house and stuff because I haven't really been there much since I bought the house. But, yeah, then we will get together and make record number 3. I'm excited to see where it goes because we really don't plan it out. We just get together and let it come out the way it comes out. So we'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe there'll be a bunch of oboes and ukuleles on the new Deathpunch record. No, I doubt it. I'm just kidding. But
well, how involved are you in the songwriting?
We all pretty much are involved. We all get together. We kind of woodshed and throw out ideas. I mean, certainly Zoltan has a lot of ideas on his own as well. I mean, he's pretty much the guy that starts it. Then we'll all get together and sprinkle our little magic on it and make it happen. We usually try to bang out the music first, and then we send it to Ivan, our singer, and he pretty much just solves the puzzle. He never really changes much. We're really kind of lucky. He just always seems to do his thing over the top of it, and it seems to be working so far. So,
well, when you're driving or writing your parts for the songs, who are you focusing on in the band primarily?
Well, for me personally, I mean, I'm not one of those guys that I don't want to just be a shred drummer just for the shred's sake of it. I mean, if it requires that, I'm cool, but I always focus on the song. I want to try to accentuate hooks and make hooky drum parts because I think the more hooks you have, the more chances you're increasing for success and for somebody to relate to it, you know? So I always just focus on the songwriting part of it and try to make it hooky and stuff like that.
We're going to take a break for a minute, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Now let's talk a little bit about you as an individual player. How long have you been playing drums?
I started when I was like 6 years old, so that was, not very long ago. No, it's been a long time. Basically got my first drum kit at 6. My grandma bought me this Sears $79 special. It was a winner.
It was a while ago, too.
But you know what? I will tell you what, man. as soon as I got that drum kit, I thought I was in Kiss. I was determined that I was Peter Criss and in Kiss at that point. So I loved it. It was the best thing ever. I couldn't play hardly at all, but my friends and I would get together and put on Kiss records and act like we were playing and know what we were doing, put on the makeup, and do all this, put on shows for the neighborhood, whatever. And I remember at the end of one of my performances, I stood up, threw my drumstick out, and hit my grandma right in the head. So that's not a nice payback for her buying the first kit. Sorry, Grandma. And but all good. And from that point forward, man, I was just obsessed with drums. And then I started discovering other players that had like feet, you know, Lars Ulrich, the Master of Puppets record. When I heard that, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You know, Anthrax, Slayer's records. I was like, wow. So at that point, it was opened up a whole world for me to where I just wanted to focus on being the guy that had feet. Shred, 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 shred. And over the years of doing that, I developed the feet part of it pretty good, but I also lost what it was to be a guy that could keep time and groove. So I kind of had to reteach myself how to play time. I started practicing to a click track a lot. And then I was blending shredding, double bass stuff with groove and timekeeping, and that's now I'm kind of where I'm at.
What other styles of drumming are you going to look at practicing then going forward?
You know, I really don't know. It's just going to be a daily thing, whatever strikes me, whatever the mood strikes. So I'm open to everything. I mean, I've done a lot of metal, obviously, hard rock stuff. I've done some country drumming. I wouldn't mind looking into some jazz stuff. It's a different animal, and it seems like that might be a step to where I don't have to always play double bass all the time. So I might investigate some jazz.
Because yeah, we've been focusing on double bass work, and you're a lot more accomplished drummer than just focusing on double bass. Can you tell me a little bit more other styles that you actually play?
Yeah, well, I mean, I am a hard rock drummer too. You know, I mean, 2s and 4s are fun. I like doing that. It doesn't have to always be about feet. So, you know, I'd consider myself a reasonable hard rock drummer, I guess. But certainly my forte would be the more metal, speedy, double bassy kind of stuff. But jazz is an area of interest for me for sure.
Well, recently you were on Jimmy Fallon, NBC's Jimmy Fallon show, which I thought was really cool, dude.
Tell you what, man, we had just come off the Rockstar Mayhem tour, playing for anywhere up to 20,000 people a day, and I was never more nervous ever than that one time at Download Live. But this TV thing was a different animal, man, because it's a controlled, very quiet sound stage, and there's cameras right here for every angle, and it's very, wow, there's no feedback from a crowd, really. So it was a little different thing for us, but we got through it, and we handled it well, and it was a good learning experience. But I was a little intimidated by that setup for sure.
What sort of interest, have you been like working on new patterns that we're going to see maybe in the new record?
I am, you know, I mean, I've been, as weird as it sounds, I've been kind of listening to like some dance music stuff lately, and not like a wimpy dance music, cool, heavy groove, industrial beat, just stuff to make you bob your head and move around. Because I mean, there's been so much done with the double bass stuff and metal drumming that's you've heard a million times. I want to keep it stimulating for me too, and that's an area I really haven't tapped upon so much. So I'm going to try to incorporate some heavy groove, dancey vibe stuff with the double bass, of course.
Well, that is a great lead into Hellacious, your other CD, Hellacious Double Bass, man. This is freaking cool. I checked it out. You telling me about it. I just thought it was a really cool concept.
It's funny because a few years ago, Zoltan and I were talking. Since he's a guitar player, he always throws up drum loops and writes songs and starts song ideas to that. He was like, man, there's really no good double bassy metal drum loop CDs out there. You could totally do one. And I'm thinking, hey, you're right. So then I just took a shot at it and threw it out there. It's been selling consistently for me for the past few years, and it's really cool. It's a good writing tool for like bass players or guitar players who don't have access to a drummer or a big studio to go record drums because it's loud for starters, and to find somebody that can nail it the way you want it, like it's tough also. So this is, you just throw the CD in your computer and you have an instant drum track, you know, so it makes it real user-friendly and easy to write and record demos.
Where can people go to find the CD if they want to purchase it?
You go to extrememetalloops.com, which is my website, and you can order it there through PayPal. Very simple process. So,
how did you capture that? Did you go into a studio or did you trigger everything?
No, I went through went to a studio, and then I went and we enhanced it, some of it. I had a guy help me mix it and everything. But yeah, I went to the studio and banged it out in a couple days, and then went home and edited myself into oblivion.
Now, did you use different time tempos? Can people control that while they're writing the song?
You know what? I did a few different time signatures on the CD, but it's pretty much straight up 4/4 stuff. But there's a lot of different double bass patterns. There's like 800 different grooves, so you'll find something that works. There have actually been some bands that have recorded the whole record with it, and they send me copies of it. Yeah, there's a band called the Shotgun Suicides, which is nice family entertainment as far as the name. But actually an amazing record, shredding, cool stuff. They recorded all the drums with the drum loop CD.
Well, just for the fact it's not much different than Five-Finger Deathpunch.
Yeah, we kind of reached for the middle on that name. No, it's a funny thing because Zoltan's a big fan of the martial art stuff. And there was a movie, I think it was actually one of the later films, the Kill Bill films, that had it was a five-finger lotus punch or something where you get punched and then you take a few steps and your heart explodes, but that doesn't sound really cool on a t-shirt. Five-finger, and they can't really chant that in the arena. So Five-Finger Death Punch is what it became, and it took, at first I was like, are you serious? But then if you think about it, what's a Pearl Jam? Is that a cool name? I mean, the music's what makes it cool.
Yeah.
So we went with it, and it seems to be working out for us.
Punishing your drum set up there live. How do you keep your energy going through a set like that?
Yeah, what I do, as far as my warm-up stuff and to keep endurance, a lot of drummers I know, they get out like pads and they're banging on pads, but what you're doing is you're overworking your muscle because you're using it the same way that you're doing it throughout the show anyway, so it's just like, why are you playing your set twice? That doesn't make sense to me. And I used to do that as well, but what I'm finding it's working for me now, I do a vigorous stretch exercise, and I get hard foam rollers and I roll out my muscles, and I use straps and stuff to stretch out my muscles and my legs and stuff, which not a lot of people would think about doing, and I was that guy too. I would just jump out of bed and start jumping on my drum kit and not warming up and basically break your body down for years, and then finally it catches up to you, especially when you do lengthy touring, man. So I just try to stretch out and roll my muscles out and counteract all the stuff that I'm doing on stage. I want to kind of stretch it the opposite way and loosen it up. And I don't think a lot of guys really focus on doing stuff like that, but you might want to try it because it's really worked wonders for me. It's helped my body stay in shape, and certainly minimizing the partying when you're on schedule helps too. Which out of the gate, we're touring, woo, and you're just burning it at both ends. But sometimes you got to pull the motor car in for a pit stop, man.
Well, you were saying you're getting sick on this tour, though, and you think it's through a lack of alcohol, right?
I was making a joke about it because I never get sick on tours, really, but this one I have because I haven't been drinking. And I was thinking there's probably the other tours I had alcohol build up so much in my body that it killed anything that was bad, but that's really not true, of course.
We're going to take another break. We'll be back in a little bit.
This is the first song ever, and it came from you, The Bleeding.
Today I'm talking with drum tech Saul Engelhardt, the drum tech for Jeremy Spencer. How you doing today?
Great, how you doing?
Killer. Now, as I understand, you've been a drum tech for a while. What other artists have you worked with?
Joey Jordison for about 5 years. I did Dave McClain back in the day with Machine Head. I've done Ken J from Static X and Raymond Herrera from Fear Factory and so.
Well, how long have you been doing it, though? Total years?
About a little bit over 15 years.
And Joey has an incredible setup as well. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like to prepare for his setup?
His setup's amazing. It's a 24-karat gold rack. It's real gold dipped, all his rims, all his lugs, everything. And when we first got it, because his drum riser flips upside down while he's playing, we bolted everything down. It took about 11 hours to bolt everything down, and then besides that, every day the setup was pretty easy. You just made sure all the bolts were still there, you know?
We're going to take a walk around, talk about the gear, talk a little bit about the drum set. Let me go ahead of me. What kind of heads is he using?
The Evans Genera G2s, and the snare is a center dot.
Is he using kind of any kind of batter badge on the bass drum heads?
Yeah, it's just the standard Danmar pad, like a flam pad that keeps it, just the kick pedal from going through the head. That's what it's mainly for.
Let's talk about Peisty cymbals. He's using alphas. Tell me a little bit about how you're taking care of the cymbals on the road.
Pretty much, he doesn't grab them a lot, so you just do a quick wipe down. You know, every couple of shows you have to do a little shine to them, you know, just because of dust and water, et cetera, et cetera. But these guys usually stay pretty clean. You know, keep your eye on them, wipe them down when they need to.
Are you using any of Peiste's Cymbal Care products, some of the cleaning?
Just personally what I like is this stuff called Metal Magic, and it's stuff that you get at a truck stop that truckers use to clean their rims, but it works really, really good on cymbals. You wipe it on, you let it turn black, you wipe it off, everything shines right up. Now the rack, because it's chrome, really what you do is pretty much, if it's really dirty, you use just a little bit of Windex or something like that, some type of, you know, household cleaner. But usually, because it is chrome, you just wipe it with a dry rag, and it actually just kind of cleans up on its own for some reason, which is easy.
Okay. No, totally. Okay, can you give us a little advice then, how you go about tuning a drum?
Well, with a tension watch, I finally understood that it is about tension. So when I change the head, I pull the top off and I pop it around the rim, which is basically like stretching a guitar string. And so it's like pre-stretching before it actually gets onto the drum itself. And then put it on, tighten everything up, give everything like a nice quarter tighten, push down real hard with the palms to give it a nice stretch, and then just tune it up with tension. You just basically push in the middle, and you slowly switch around to where your wrinkles go up. Once your wrinkles completely disappear, you're really, really close there, and then you just dial it in by tapping around the lugs just to make sure everything's the same.
So does he keep it normally kind of loose on all the drums?
He's got really big and deep toms, so we don't have to keep them very loose. We can keep them moderately tight, and he still gets that really low end that he wants because of the depth of the toms.
Now, as a player live, can you tell me a little bit about what your experience is watching him play live? What do you think about him as a player?
I think he's a fabulous player. He's got a great look. You know, the kit, is huge, and he uses it well, so it makes it look really good. But I'm usually staring at the electronics, making sure that stuff's still working most of the time. We give each other eye contact throughout the whole show. With the motors and the electronics and everything else, I'm kind of busy to where I don't really get to watch him all the time. But I do enjoy watching him play. He's a good drummer, good steady drummer.
It's over. It's over. Interview's over. Let's go.
Riveting footage there of the
Yeah,
wall.
Oh, we're back. Now let's talk a little bit about your drum kit. It's amazing. I haven't seen drummers go creative with their drum kits in so many years. I'm so excited to see what you're doing. So what was the idea about doing this, coming up with a set that's just stellar?
You know what? It's kind of a creation of Zoltan, man, the masterminded stage prop guy, and our light guy Brandon, who's also had a big hand in building our stage setup. But the drum kit, we just wanted to do something that you hadn't really seen a million times. I mean, we're the name of the record was War of the Answer, was the tour that we're supporting it, and so it just seemed to be fitting for what we were going for. So we put bullets, machine guns all over. We just basically wanted to make the stupidest looking kit possible, and I think we achieved it.
During the show, I have to hook this air hose up, which goes to a fog machine, which is built in underneath the riser that runs the guns.
It's got the bullets all over it, so if the crowd doesn't participate, we just fire it. No, I'm just kidding.
So it goes up 10 feet. How often during the show does this go up and down?
We do about 3 songs, depending on the set list, but usually we do 3 songs. This rises all the way up.
I love it, man. It's cool. It's on a riser that goes up like 16 feet in the air, so I get to have my Peter Criss Love Gun tour moment.
I'm running a digital performer with the rack, and then we have, there's 4 motors that go onto a motor control, so I'm running those. I'm running smoke, tracks, click, and the motors at the same time. That's one part of the show. It's glorious.
Metal. So did you go to somebody with that concept, or did you design it?
We did it. I mean, the drum tech and I just kind of got the stuff from Gibraltar and started cramming pipes together, and just kind of came together. I mean, it was a lot of work and a lot of broken parts in the process, but it seems to come together, and the crowd seems to dig it too. Like it'll be covered with a sheet, and then when you can hear it when they uncover it, they cheer for the drum kit and stuff. So it's cool, man.
What What about the drum riser actually itself? Now, did you design that as well, or?
That was something that Brandon did with one of his friends, and it's turned out really cool. I mean, it's on like 4 motors, so
This rises all the way up.
I get to have a little drum solo moment and have the ego stroke minute. So
During the last song, we bring it about halfway down during the guitar solo, and then at the end of the song, I drop him all the way to the ground, and as soon as he hits the ground, he stands up, turns around, and goes out and gives everybody a wave and a pair of drumsticks.
When I say 5 finger, you say 5 finger! 5 finger! 5 finger! It's over now.
Dude, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you.
thank you, man. Appreciate it.
As I'm walking in front of the world-famous First Avenue Club located in Minneapolis, Minnesota, seeing many of the legends who have performed here, and recounting many of the shows I have attended throughout the years, none stand out to me more than a Motorhead concert. I've seen Motorhead here a number of times, but have lost count on how many times I've seen them throughout the years. I first met Mikkey back in 1994 on tour for Motorhead's record Bastards, a support act for Black Sabbath on the Cross Purposes tour. I was introduced to Mikkey through my friend Bobby Rondinelli, who was drumming for Black Sabbath at the time. This was one of my favorite memories of all time. I was invited to dinner with Black Sabbath and Motorhead prior to the show. I was sitting amongst legends, and all I can remember is talking with Mikkey, Bobby, and Pete Sandoval of the band Morbid Angel, who was the opener for that evening. We talked gear, music, drums, technique. I was in heaven. Later that evening, when Motorhead hit the stage, I was watching them from stage right. Mikkey caught a glimpse of me and motioned for me to come up on stage and sit directly behind him for their set. It was an amazing evening. Before that evening, I had heard of Motorhead and much of their music, but it wasn't until that evening that I actually got it. Back on February 15th of this year, 2011, it was a sold-out show and people were lined up around the club on both sides of the building. You can't entirely capture the energy of Motorhead on any recording. They have to be experienced. Prior to Mikkey, Motorhead had a respected history. Every drummer to that point was great, but when Mikkey joined the band, it was a significant change in their sound. I talked with Mikkey in support of their most recent CD, The World Is Yours, and it's a stunning addition to their collection.
Good evening. Are you alright? I shouldn't perfect such. We are Motorhead. And we play rock and roll.
Sit back for a great interview with amazing access. They had a very busy schedule that day and fit me in. So I'd like to thank not only Mikkey, but also their road manager, Eddie Rocha, who went way out of his way to make this happen. You guys got a good level? Without further ado, here's Mikkey D. Hey Mikkey, how you doing? This is Paul Rodney. Great to have you on the show, man.
Good to see you.
Talking in support today of your latest record, The World Is Yours. How's it going so far with the tour?
Amazing. I mean, the album just been out for a little over a week here, I think. And I just saw today, this morning actually, that we were #1 selling in Canada, which is great. Nothing that really happens to us too often. But no, I mean, I really enjoy that people have a chance to check it out. And if they like it or hate it, that's a different story. But at least they're checking it out. So.
No, it's an amazing record.
Yeah, I think it's a great album. There's no problem there. We always do our best. Exactly what we needed, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
Filthy crew. Yeah. Nah, they're good guys. No, and the tour's been really good, you know, so far, so good.
For your drum solo, are you going to do an intro with the song Outlaw? Because that song to me is like the perfect song to lead into a drum solo. Outlaw.
Outlaw? No, we don't play that one, but we have. I still do the solo in Tragedy, which I think it's. I want to do it in the song, you know. We had Sacrifice for years, and you know, it's time to change. Getting boring now, you know. I tell you what, though, you know, it's funny because I'm starting to get 10% in the bar, you know, because when I do the solo, people just run to the bar and they sell a lot of beer, so I'm collecting 10% there.
Freaking guitar players, isn't
So
it?
the crappier solo I do, the more cash I make.
Well, let's talk about your solos, your incredible drum set. What I love about your setup, it was best covered by Bobby Rondinelli one time. He told me when he played your kit, he goes, I had to take an elevator to the second floor just to hit the freaking toms. I love how you got your toms so high and your cymbals so low. How did this setup evolve?
I don't think it is that high, though. Well, as you can see, I'm sitting pretty low. This is actually because I'm doing a lot of shows that I try to keep the angles straight, as you can see. I do hit a lot of rim shots, so the snare is fairly flat, just to have nice angles in your wrists. When you do so many shows, if you have these toms as high as they are, or you think it's high, but it keeps my shoulders up, and I have to really, you know, stretch out to hit them. I worked a lot over the years with trying to get my drums and cymbals in a setting where it's very natural, straight line, so you're not gonna screw up. If you do 200 shows a year or 150 shows a year, every year, for so many years, it's important that, I mean, I can feel if a cymbal is just a little too low or high, immediately I can start that I'm, you know, something's wrong with the shoulder or your back, or, you know. And this seems to work for me, you know. I sit very low, pretty much 90 degrees on my legs here, give you good power on the kicks, you know. And yeah, it forces me to really stretch up and not sink in, and, you know.
Yeah.
That's when I believe you're gonna get problems if you do a lot of shows, and if you want to play as hard as I do, you know, then you better have your stuff in good angles and good settings. So it works for me.
Let's talk about some of your incredible products. You've been with Peisty Cymbals since 1987.
Yes, since I started, really. Yeah, these Peisties are my babies, you know. There's two 19s on here, two 18s, a 19 and a 20. 22 Power Ride, a Splash, a 14 China, a 20. My favorite here is actually a full crash. This is a Power. I think we're out of fulls. And then a 19 and a 16 China as well. And then you have the Mikkey D House Bell here, as you can see. It says Mikkey D on there. Hell's Bell.
Well, where did you get that?
Now, a friend of mine made it, and I only play it when it's time for tea. Or the ferry is about to leave, you know. So,
Well,
it's just for fun. And the Sound Edge hi-hat.
They're all the signature alloy series.
These are the cymbals I played forever, really. The same setup, and there's not a hi-hat in the world that's gonna beat this baby here. 14 sound edge.
Now, during the mid '90s, you developed a cymbal with Peisty. It was a bigger bell cymbal, like a 20-inch. Can you tell me a little bit about that? What's the development process like when you're working with a company like Peisty?
It's great. I mean, you know, we like family. Gee, you know, it's like asking about your parents, really. Because they've been great behind me, and we have a great relationship. You know, if I can help out, the problem I can tell you that I have is on the right side. Okay. Because with Motorhead, I want a cymbal to have a nice cymbal sound in it, but I do play a lot of hard quarter notes, and the problem is that, of course, the cymbals start to bleed too much until it goes into a frenzy. And this is really good. This is a good cymbal. But I like to develop that and continue working on that. I did try a prototype that we made, but it was too hard. I was breaking too many sticks. The bell was too hard. But we're always trying to move forward and try to come up with something new. Because hitting really hard on the bell, you know, either the cymbal is totally dead, which I hate, and the bell sounds good, or the cymbal bleeds too much, and I like a good bell and a good cymbal, because I do a lot of little tingling shit on there as well. So that's the problem, to find a good media right there. It's I want it to just sound like a cymbal, like a ride cymbal. I don't want it to sound like a cowbell or a bell. I have one here when we're gonna drink tea, so you know what I mean. That's the one. No, I want it to really sound like a good ride bell, and then at the same time, you don't want to lose the actual nice ride cymbal sound in it. You know, so it's a very hard thing to do. I think it's the hardest cymbal really to. Hi-hats here, this is just perfect. They sound heavy, they are very sharp. You can really hear if you like to do some little fun stuff. I play a lot of dynamic stuff up here for myself. You might not even hear it out there, but I do it for myself. You know, little bits and pieces that doesn't maybe translate out to the crowd, but it's for me, you know.
Let's talk about your Sonar kit. You've been with Sonar for, at least from your King Diamond days. Was it before that?
That was Sonar as well. I played. My first drum kit when I was 5 was a Sonar.
Oh, really? Okay.
But that's more of a coincidence.
Okay.
Something that really lasts and sound as good as these. I have a hard time even comparing any other drums to this. They've just been right for me. A lot of people don't like them because they might be too heavy for them, you know, in a lot of ways. But I mean, all the other drum manufacturers make really good drums today. But for my personal taste, these are the way. This is the one, you know, that I stuck to.
Well, with the shells themselves, Sonar talks about that they have a tension-free shell construction style, meaning that if you do a slice down the shell, it won't spring out. Do you notice a big difference between other maple shells with other manufacturers?
Yes, you do, because the less interruption you, of course, have in wood. You know, it's supposed to be a resonant in the drum. Mm-hmm. A lot of drummers come up and, you know, they listen to how the tuning and stuff is, but you know, how does the actual wood sound? You know, it's supposed to resonate, and the less you cut and screw in there, the less interruption you get. You know, you get a nice, full, resonant sound.
Was this the designer series?
This is an old drum kit now. This is the last tour this baby's doing.
I'll take it.
This is not falling apart, but I had it for a long time, this specific kit. But I will, we're working on a new drum kit as we speak. So.
Okay. Well, because what was interesting to me years ago when you showed me your white kit, I think it was during an Overnight Sensation tour, they had a knob on the front end that you could adjust the tension of the shell to adjust the resonation. Do you use that a lot on this?
Not live, you don't really do it. But in the studio, I gotta tell you, every single album I done, when you play 3 toms and then 2 floors, there's gonna be one of these babies that ain't sounding the same, like in the same family here. One's gonna sound a little too choked, or one's gonna be too lively. Of course, because you have different sizes, it makes sense. But you still want them in the same category.
Yeah.
And at that point, you could, you know, change it a little bit to tighten it up. If it was, they could tell me, the 13-inch sounds perfect, and out here it sounds a little too choked to me, maybe. Yeah. And then maybe I'd choke up the 14 and the 10 a little bit, you know. And they all sounded the same, you know. So
amazing kit. Well, also the designer bass drum mount, that is just totally solid. Are the designer kits still available? I have not been able to find any literature.
No, they're not making them anymore. You can still get this though.
Oh, you can. Okay.
For me, it's really good because the way I have my 10-inch tom here, you know, you can really sit upside down and get it to work. Because you have all the movement back and forth, you're tilting up and down on this stand, and then still you have you can move them any way you want, you know.
Amazing. Let's talk about some of the other
good idea.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I love the whole design of those things. Now let's talk about your drumsticks. Now this is a new company that I've recently heard of, and you're wearing a T-shirt, so obviously very proud of the company.
A coincidence. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it's a coincidence.
I'm a part owner of the company.
I was going to ask you that. That's what I heard. Yeah. So when did you start owning part owner? Well, talk about them.
No, I was with Vic Firth for 20 years. Great guys, great drumsticks. I was never gonna leave those guys, you know. And I really like to point that out, that I didn't leave I stopped playing Vic Firth because it was a bad stick, because I had an opportunity here to invest and it's a Swedish company. A friend of mine is a part owner, and they really wanted me to get on this. I played them, and it really is the most superior stick I ever played. That's why I changed, really. It's a small company, so I was very, very concerned over quality. That it had to be quality sticks, and we managed to do that. We have a weight control on this, so when I actually get 500 pairs, they're all actually weighing the same. Oh, wow. And I have 2 kind of weights here, as you can see. One with a red Motorhead butt, and one with a black. And this black one is a little bit heavier. The weight's a little bit further up in the stick, so it feels heavy. The actual stick weighs the same, but in you know, the wood is different. You know how the woods are. So these are a little bit heavier in the feel of it.
Is that because you're doing a lot more ride work?
No, I changed every song. I have different sticks in different hands, really. You know, for instance, it got the power. I really like to have a heavy snare stick. Sometimes in tragedy, where I do a lot of bell work and tingling stuff, I choose a black one. They last a little better than if they're a little lighter here. You know, so I'm very happy with the quality and the results of the sticks that we make. So I said, all right, let's give it a shot, you know. And I've been with our company now for 2 years, I think.
2 years, okay.
And it's going really well because, you know, I send these sticks to friends I have around the world, and they actually go crazy about them because of the quality. And they don't split. I mean, you do crack a stick, but they don't split here.
Oh, okay.
You know, like a lot of other sticks do. I mean, I used to come back from tour almost bald on my left side here because of the rim shots. I had big toupees hanging in the damn stick after some of these shows. And that is no more. So I look the same on both sides.
Looks beautiful.
Yeah,
is that because of they do a lot of humidity balancing in the stick? I heard they really concentrate on the humidity of the stick.
Yes, and we sand them down with one big stone.
Okay.
And then they're waxed and hung upside down. Every stick is hung, so the wax is getting in everywhere.
Oh, wow.
It's not just being thrown and dried. These are waxed and they don't feel waxed at all. So the old guy that really picks out the wood here, he knows what he's doing. He's been working with wood all his life. It's just still, in the end, just a bloody stick. You know what I mean? But it's nice to trust your equipment. Mm-hmm. That's why I stuck with Paiste, Sonar, DW pedals. I love these guys. I've been with those guys for a long time too. And Vixen sticks. It's because it's quality, and the way we tour, we do so many shows and so much travel and so much abuse to our gear. That this stuff's been working for me for many years, you know. And I never left the company for money or or exposure. I mean, this is what I love and like. So
that's the important thing. You are not an endorsee hopper, which is really cool to see. Because to you, what's the important role of an endorsee and also an endorser company? What should an endorsee do when they endorse a product?
Well, I want the service that I've got from these guys. That's important to me, that they can deliver the goods here. You know, when I need cymbals, I get cymbals. When I need to get the drums, I need to get my stuff. But again, I can't say anything bad about other companies, because if you talk to some other drummer, maybe another cymbal would work better for him or her, you know. But for me, it's me. That's important to me. It's me. I don't care what other drummers think. You know, this works for me.
Well, one thing quickly.
And I think it works for you.
Now, can you tell me a little bit about how you got in the band Motorhead? Now, I understand in '86 you actually did one tour with them before becoming a member in '92. How did that process come about?
Well, long story short, we became really good friends, and Lemmy and Phil and Versal actually asked me 2 or 3 times over a couple of years there to join the band. And first time I was in King Diamond, same thing there. I never hopped between bands, you know. I was very happy what we did with King and a bunch of friends. So we did well, and then when I left King, I joined Don Talkin, and I remember Lemmy calling at a point where I was actually going on tour for 11 months, so I couldn't just leave the band. But I felt that I belong in the heavier section of music, maybe. But Don was a great part after King Diamond. That's what I really wanted to play, and you know, when we finally got going, we did. You know, I'm glad I waited. I had to earn some more stripes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to get some more routine. I could not contribute at all to as I do today. You know, I would have been chewed up then thrown out quickly.
Yeah, right. Well, what do you think you contribute differently than other drummers of Motorhead that have done? Because I know you play guitar as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, I write, me and Phil writes all this stuff, really, in the music. We've done that since early days. And then, of course, all three of us piece it together and write. But we try to take songs as far as we can. And I don't know what I do different. It's just, we just work really hard, all three of us. In the end, we clicked pretty good, you know, by working together the way we do, and we found each one of us know how the other one's working, and it makes it quite easy, actually, you know. But we do as good as we can.
You guys are an amazing band. Let's quickly talk about your style of playing. You're an incredibly solid drummer, and year after year you continually improve, get more steady in your playing. What's your off-tour routine on developing your chops?
Stay the hell away from drums.
No way, really?
Oh yeah. As much as we tour, I don't even want to see a drumstick when I'm off tour. But it really is like that. I cannot leave this tour and then jump on the drum kit. My son's got a drum kit in his room, so I sneak in there and jam a little bit sometimes. But I really need mentally to prepare for next tour, you know. Okay. And usually, today we didn't have much time, but I'll sit up here. This is my practice. I'm here an hour before the other guys, and this is where I put the cups on. Very used and up cups, but these are going on. And I sit here and work out little techniques and different beats, and you know, and work on stuff that I feel that I like to improve.
Do you use a click often during your live performance?
Nothing in these babies. It's only my left ear is shut, and the right one I adjust because it shuts out all the wish wash. I can hear what I'm doing, you know. You get a little bit more low end and a bit more push, and so you can hear what you're doing, because some of the shit is so fast, you know, to try to keep the pockets there. Why I use them. There's nothing in them.
Okay.
Never have been.
Are you using triggers at all?
No.
Well, you're doing 6 to 7 months out of each year, right? Or is it more?
Oh, it's more. It's a non-stop rolling, so we do this US tour. I come home and off for about 2 weeks, and then we go to Australia, and then straight to South America. Then I'm coming home, be off for a few weeks, and then we do June, July, August festivals every weekend into September, go back to South America, and then we do the big European tour, October, November, December. So you tell me, where am I gonna, you know, find the energy to? And again, you know, if you're 19 or 15 years old, you love practicing. I don't love practicing as much anymore, you know. But I love when I sound check to sit up here and come up with stuff. But to me now, it's more important for me to get some peace and quiet in between all this, because it's very tense, you know. Yeah. It's really a very unique band to play in, and as much as we tour, that is the important part for me. Is I need to already now prepare for next tour, you know, mentally. I have to prepare myself, and my hands and elbows and shoulders. And that's why I was talking about my setup is so important for me, because I swing a lot when I play. I play pretty hard, and I swing a lot and really, you know, wear out my upper body on playing drums. So it's very important for me to have the nice, you know, to hit a drum from above and not from, you know, if they're too tilted, where's the power coming from, you know, by hitting them from inside here. I'm hitting them from above, you know. And cymbals, again, they're pretty high up, they're far apart. I'm a little guy, you know, but that makes me stretch out, you know, and so you really not injure yourself, you know.
Just out of kicks, can I just see how you hold your sticks when you hit your first 10-inch tom over there?
What do you mean, with my left?
Well, yeah, with your left arm, because I'm just like trying to figure out how you get your angle up there.
Like that.
Well, I just love it. I've struggled with having my 10-inch over there, and it just doesn't always work. You know, so I just.
Well, you don't have sonar. That's the trick right there. You know, look at this. This baby is way up front here, as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
Normally they sit on the middle here. It wouldn't work. You can't get this to work because I need to have the hi-hat. You know, where's that?
So what series are you looking at now for sonar for next tour?
It's the SQ.
Oh, okay.
SQ2 series, which is the top of the line these days, you know, and it's a little different type of drum. It'll take me a little while to get into those, but again, sonar drums, you really need to hit hard for them to work.
Okay.
It's a very hard kit to sit acoustically and just tap away and jam. You need other drums than this then. But if you hit these, they come out like cannons. They really are shooting out like no other drums that I heard.
Drummer.
Wow.
Have you
Need a
tried
lot of muscle.
you tried their Birch series at all?
And another very important thing is, I get very, very tired, and that pisses me off so much. So I play even better. It's like a rolling snowball, you know. It does piss me off when I get tired, and then I hit even harder, and I work even harder then, you know. So it's kind of kicking my ass up here. This is a torture chamber, actually. I'm sitting inside.
On the drums, the best drummer in the world, Mikkey.
Hey, we forgot to talk about your drum heads. You've been with Remo for many years. How long have you been with Remo?
Oh, I've been with them for as long as I can remember. Remo is the absolute #1 drum head, and every drummer knows that, actually.
How often do you switch out heads?
Snare head every day, of course, you know. Tom heads maybe 3 or 4 shows.
Mikkey, I can't thank you so much for all the time you've given me. It was a pleasure seeing you again. You're an incredible drummer.
Thank you very much.
This concludes another episode of Rog's Talking Drums, but not without another drumstick giveaway. Both Jeremy and Mikkey were generous enough to give me a number of signed drumsticks. If you'd like one, please email me at therog@rogstalkingdrums.com, and in the subject line put the drummer's name and stick giveaway. If you'd like to try your luck for both, please send 2 emails. We have the winners of the Frederick Anderson drumstick giveaway from episode 1 listed on the Rog's Talking Drums website. Be sure to go to rogstalkingdrums.com to look at it, baby. We have some amazing stories and amazing drummers coming up on future episodes. Please visit rogstalkingdrums.com often to keep up with all the drumming news and all that we're up to. Thank you for watching. Take care.
My favorite drums are sonar drums, of course. I've been with them forever. They're almost as old as I am. Check them out yourself. You're going to find so many different series you could choose between, and they all sound absolutely incredible. I'm also pounding on Remo drum heads, so you should check it out because it's the best. The cymbals I play are Paiste cymbals. I've been with them forever. It's the best in the business. Super good stuff. The drumsticks I play is actually, I'm a part of the company. It's called Vincent. It's a Swedish company. The highest quality drumstick you can absolutely try to get. So it's an amazing stick. Check it out, see what you think, and then you can toss it out if you want, but it's absolutely the best quality you can find. Vincent drumsticks.